In a shocking turn of events, 4 aid seekers lost their lives in the line of duty near Gaza City, as reported by a hospital and eyewitnesses. This incident marks another grim chapter in the escalating crisis, where the quest for sustenance has become perilous for the inhabitants of the besieged region. Updated on August 24, 2025, 3:31 p.m. EDT, CBS. On a fateful Sunday, Israeli forces opened fire on a group of civilians traversing a militarized zone south of Gaza City, an area frequently used by Palestinians desperate to reach a crucial food distribution hub. These tragic fatalities contribute to the mounting death toll of Palestinians who have perished while seeking sustenance amidst the looming famine that grips certain parts of the Gaza Strip. As tensions escalate and Israel's military intensifies its operations in northern Gaza, preparing for a major assault on its largest city, the situation becomes increasingly dire. A recent UN-backed initiative has declared a famine in Gaza City, warning that without immediate intervention in the form of a ceasefire or the lifting of restrictions on humanitarian aid, the crisis will only worsen. However, Israel disputes this assessment, maintaining that there is no famine in Gaza, a stance that has drawn international scrutiny. Catherine Russell, the UNICEF executive director, expressed her deep concern over the unfolding humanitarian disaster during an appearance on Face the Nation with Margaret Brennan. She lamented, "We've been issuing warnings, but it feels like our cries fall on deaf ears." Russell further emphasized that while the famine is indeed alarming, it is not unexpected given the circumstances. This crisis is man-made, Russell asserted. It didn't arise due to natural disasters like cyclones or droughts. It's the direct result of inadequate humanitarian aid reaching these vulnerable communities. Echoing Russell's sentiments, Senator Jeanne Shaheen, a Democrat from New Hampshire, condemned the blockade imposed by Israel on Gaza as a disgraceful stain on humanity. Speaking from Jordan, she recounted her visit to a humanitarian assistance program striving to deliver aid to Gaza, only to find that Israel had obstructed their efforts by preventing their trucks from entering the region. "The buck stops with Prime Minister Netanyahu," Shaheen stated firmly. "He must acknowledge the consequences of his actions and reconsider his stance on this matter." According to Al-Auda Hospital and eyewitness accounts, the 4 victims were killed when Israeli troops fired upon a crowd attempting to reach a site operated by the Israeli-supported American contractor, Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, GHF, in the Netzarim corridor area. The shooting took place several hundred meters away from the distribution site. Eyewitnesses described the gunfire as indiscriminate, with many fleeing in terror while others fell victim to the bullets. Mohammed Abed, a father of 2 from the Barrage refugee camp, recounted the harrowing scene, stating that while some managed to escape, others lay motionless on the ground after being struck by gunfire. Ahmed Sayed, another individual among the crowd seeking aid, reported that the troops opened fire when a group at the forefront of the crowd attempted to advance towards the distribution site prior to its scheduled opening. Sayed shared that he and others assisted 2 individuals who had sustained gunshot wounds, one to the shoulder and another to the leg. Despite repeated requests for comment, neither the Israeli military nor GHF provided an immediate response. Since GHF commenced operations approximately 3 months ago, the United Nations has documented hundreds of Palestinians who have been shot and killed by the Israel Defense Forces and foreign military contractors at or near their aid sites. The latest casualties add to the mounting toll of Palestinians who have lost their lives or been injured while seeking aid at distribution points or along routes used by the United Nations and other humanitarian organizations. According to the Hamas-run health ministry in Gaza, over 2,000 Palestinians have been killed and more than 13,500 wounded in their pursuit of assistance. On Sunday, the ministry confirmed that at least 62,686 Palestinians have been killed in the ongoing conflict, including those whose status was previously unknown but has now been confirmed as deceased by a special judicial committee. The ministry also reported that the number of deaths related to malnutrition increased by 8 to 289 on Sunday. Among the deceased was a child, raising the death toll among minors since the commencement of hostilities between Israel and Hamas in 2023 to 115. While the ministry does not specify the number of combatants versus civilians among the fatalities, it estimates that roughly half of the victims are women and children. As part of the Hamas-led administration, the ministry is staffed by medical professionals and is considered by the United Nations and independent experts to be the most credible source of information regarding casualties in the conflict. Although Israel disputes the figures, it has not provided alternative data. The Integrated Food Security Phase Classification (IPC), recognized globally as the foremost authority on food crises, declared on Friday that famine conditions prevail in Gaza City, home to a significant Palestinian population. There is a looming risk that the famine could extend southwards to Deir al-Balah and Khan Yunis by the end of the following month, unless urgent action is taken. Humanitarian organizations have long warned that the war, coupled with Israel's prolonged restrictions on food and medical supplies entering Gaza, is exacerbating starvation. Israel, however, refutes claims of widespread hunger in Gaza, dismissing reports of starvation as fabrications propagated by Hamas. Amidst the escalating tensions, residents of Jabalia, a densely populated refugee camp situated just north of Gaza City, reported enduring relentless explosions throughout the night. Following the announcement by Israel's military of intensified operations in the region and the mobilization of thousands of reservists to capture the city, fear and uncertainty have become a constant presence in the lives of the inhabitants. Osama Matter, who sought refuge in a part of Gaza City after being displaced from a neighborhood on the city's southern outskirts, described witnessing homes reduced to rubble and entire neighborhoods unrecognizably flattened. They aim to replicate the destruction witnessed in Rafah, he remarked, referring to a town in southern Gaza that was devastated earlier in the conflict. Explosions and attacks have been relentless in recent days. As schoolteacher Salim Dahar fled westward from Jabalia, he observed weaponized robots deploying explosives as troops advanced from the opposite direction. He perceived this as a prelude to Israel's broader objective of forcibly relocating Palestinians from the northern regions. The ultimate goal, according to Dahar, is to obliterate everything above ground and compel the displacement of the population. There are few signs of the hundreds of thousands of Palestinians evacuating southward ahead of Israel's anticipated invasion of Gaza City, which remains under the control of Hamas, according to Israeli claims. Many are weary from repeated displacement and skeptical about finding safety in any location, including designated humanitarian zones. The impending military operation, expected to commence within days, poses a grave threat to the lives of countless civilians who are currently taking refuge in areas that have been repeatedly invaded by Israel, but are believed to harbor a network of militant tunnels beneath the surface. In the October 7, 2023 attack, which ignited the war, Hamas-led militants abducted 251 individuals and claimed around 1,200 lives, primarily civilians. While the majority of the hostages have been released through ceasefires or other agreements, approximately 50 remain in Gaza, with around 20 believed to be alive by Israeli intelligence. But here's where it gets controversial. The conflict's complexity lies not only in the humanitarian crisis, but also in the geopolitical implications and the divergent narratives surrounding the events. As the situation unfolds, it raises profound questions about the role of international actors, the legitimacy of military actions, and the pursuit of peace in a region torn by decades of conflict. And this is the part most people miss. Behind the headlines and the statistics, there are real people, families and communities grappling with the devastating impact of war. Their stories often go untold, overshadowed by the political rhetoric and military strategies. Yet it is through understanding their experiences that we can truly grasp the human cost of this ongoing crisis. What are your thoughts? Share your perspective in the comments section below.